Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm Rabbi Susan Abramson, coming to you from the sanctuary of Temple Shalom Emeth in Burlington, Massachusetts. It's my pleasure to present to you this evening a very special service of installation of our officers. And I wanted to start off by thanking the members of our staff. First of all, our cantorial soloist, my partner, Meg Silver, who conducts so much of our Shabbat services and has raised all of our spirits and our spirituality, particularly over the past few months with these videotaped services. And he's a pleasure to work with, always willing to try new things and always open to whatever ideas I throw his way. And I just love hearing the sound of his voice and just his presence and the person who he is. So thank you so much to Ben. I wanted to thank our religious school director, Rhonda Rubin, who is stepping down this year because of her busy life. And I wanted to say what a pleasure it is, Rhonda, to have worked with you over these past few years. And you're such a fun person to deal with, and you led our school so beautifully. So thank you to everything that you've done for our children and our whole congregation. I wanted to thank our temple administrator, Ali Almog, for always being there when I need her, and for really taking the extra effort to come in during these difficult times to send out yard site notices and to administrate everything having to do with our congregation. So, and she's also a pleasure to work with, always happy to do whatever is asked of her. So thank you, Allie. I wanted to thank our temple custodian, Marley Eldridge, also for being a wonderful presence in our community and always willing to do whatever is asked to make our physical space safe and clean, and coming in during this time to make extra sure that everything is spick and span and germ free. So thank you, Marley, for all that you've done for us over the many, many years that you've worked with us. So now we're going to continue our service with the singing of L'cha Dodi. Take it away, Ben Silver.
L'cha Dodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. l'cha dodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושמו תפארת ולתהילה. l'cha דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. l'cha דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, גבעורי קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. l'cha דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. l'cha דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. אורי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וצהולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, l'cha דודי לקראת כלה,
I would now like to invite our temple president, Shelley Rosenbaum Littman, and her family to light the Shabbat candles for us this evening.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen, 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 amen.
We now continue with the Baruch Hu on page 146. Please rise if you are able. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due, now and forever.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Leolam Vaed.
Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chachma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna misanei itim, umchalich et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'miroteihem b'rakia kirtzono, b'rei yom v'layla go leil or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom, uma'avir layla, umagdil bein yom uvein layla, Adonai Sevaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch, Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Praise to you, Adonai, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sails of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim.
Everlasting love, you offer your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Israel.
We now continue with the Shema, the watchword of our Jewish faith, on page 152 and 153. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol miodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'veitecha uv'leftecha v'derech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam liot al yodecha v'hayu latotafot bein einecha uktavtam al mizuzot beitecha uvisharecha Laman tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liyot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorpost of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emeth.
We now continue with the singing of Mi Chamocha on page 158. Mi Chamocha is the song which the Israelites sang when they crossed the Red Sea to freedom from Pharaoh's grip.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot, osef tele. Nora tehilot, osef tele. Adonai leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam. Ze Eli anu v'yamru, ze Eli anu v'yamru. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed.
We continue with Vishamru. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time, on page 162.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Beini uvein B'nei Yisrael, ori le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat
We now continue with the next section of our service called the Tefillah, which means the prayer, on page 164.
Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tivta. Anananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tivta. Anananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tivta. Anananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tivta. Ananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Anananananana Adonai. Anananananana Svatai Tivta. Ananananana Ufi Agid. Ufi Agid Tehilatecha.
Page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivcha, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Hasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol L'Zocher Chazdei Avot v'Imahot Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem L'man Shmo B'Ahava Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagein Baruch atah Adonai Magein Avraham Vezrat Sarah.
Ata gibor li'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol ata rav lehoshia, Mechokel chayim v'chesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umakayem emunato lishenei afar micha mocha bal gevurot umido melach melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'amanata l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol.
Page 170. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Page 173.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Continue with the singing of Shalom Rav, a song for peace, on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people, forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We now continue with the Misha Beirach Get Well prayer on page 371. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. This evening we think in particular of Eliza Major. We add to her name the names of those who you might want us to keep in our hearts and our minds at this moment. We also think of all of us around the country who are struggling both physically and emotionally and spiritually at this moment because of what's going on in our world today. And we think of those who are suffering, continuing to suffer from this horrible COVID virus in our country, in our nation, in our town, and around the world. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for all of our health to be restored and all of our strength to be revived. May God swiftly send all of us a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say, Amen.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We pause for a moment of silent prayer. We now continue with the singing of Oseh Shalom, another song for peace, on page 180.
Oseh Shalom, Bimromav, Oyaseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom, Bimromav, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom Bimrama Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen.
This week's Torah portion, Baha'alotacha, begins with God's instructions to Moses and Aaron concerning how to light the lamps in the tabernacle the Israelites had just built in the desert. It is curious that a Torah portion should begin with such a seemingly minor and specific instruction, but it teaches us that every aspect of the tabernacle and every action which was to take place within it should be a reflection of God's word. So tonight we thank those members of our temple who have been true beacons of our congregation and brought their own unique and very specific light to our congregation. Thanks to your leadership and dedication, you've illuminated our path along the way to serving the needs of our temple. It is because of your attention to the innumerable tasks and the details that needed to be completed that our congregation has thrived and will continue to do so in the future. So we're going to begin this evening by thanking those whose leadership of the past year has brought us to this point along our journey. It has been your courage to make decisions, your insights into our communal needs, your commitment to our continued existence, which has enabled our temple to flourish. And so our first job this evening is to thank those who are not going to be continuing either on the board or in their current positions on the board. So I'm now going to have members of our board speak about those who are not continuing. Lisa Diorio, who I'm actually going to speak about, Lisa Arsenault, our religious school co-chair, Rick Levin, who was our recording secretary, and Jeremy Kasanov, who is continuing on the board but not in his current position of vice president of House. So Lisa Diorio, I'll start by speaking to you. You've been the chair of the Religious and Ritual Committee for the past couple of years, and we have been on the Religious and Ritual Committee for, I can't even remember how long at this point. And you've always been somebody who has a creative spirit, who's been a wonderful partner to work with, who always is up for exploring new ideas and has done everything in your power so that we can continue to maintain the standards and the creativity of our worship experience and any issues which came up surrounding it. So thank you so much for being a wonderful partner and somebody who's always great to work with and somebody who I always enjoy just picking up the phone and talking to for an hour. So thank you very, very much for all that you've done for our community. I would now like to invite Jen Snyder, our continuing co-chair of our religious school committee, to talk about Lisa Arsenault.
I've been so lucky to get to work with Lisa this year on the religious school committee. Lisa's smart, organized, and committed to helping to make the religious school thrive. She's a budget whiz, or shall I say master. We made a great team, working together to divide up the tasks at hand. When I first joined the committee, Lisa was great at catching me right up to speed on what was needed to help the school grow. Lisa has shown devotion, dedication, and support to the school, children, and parents of Temple Shalom Emeth Religious School. It's been a pleasure working with Lisa as co-chair.
I would now like to invite Rick Levin to talk about Jeremy Kasanov leaving his position as VP of House.
Hi, I'm Rick Levin, outgoing recording secretary. But previous to that, I was the House chair, and Jeremy was my right-hand person. And a few years ago, we swapped roles, and he became House chair, and I was his backup. And I'm really happy to say that even though this is a thankless job, I'm thanking him now, that I'm really pleased and impressed at how well he stepped into the role of getting toilets fixed and painting projects and keeping the heat going and all the other stuff that House does. So Jeremy, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
I would now like to call upon Jeremy Kasanov to talk about Rick Levin, who is leaving his position as corresponding secretary.
Rick, I have enjoyed working with you on house projects over the last few years. It's clear that you care deeply about Temple Shalom Emeth, and everyone in the congregation is very fortunate to count you as a member of the community.
Lisa, Jeremy, and Rick, you are relieved of your obligations in your current positions, but not until the end of June, and I know that you're going to continue to help us in numerous other ways around the community in the future. So, Mazel Tov, you are officially uninstalled. And we now turn to those who are continuing in their positions on the board and those who are joining the board for the first time. You will be the ones to illuminate our congregation and light the path for us as we continue our journey into the future. I'd like to thank Heidi Mover, our member at large, for all that she's done in our congregation this year, from contributing to board discussions to helping keep our grounds beautiful and planting flowers all around the building, and all that she does to support the congregation and support me. So thank you, Heidi, very, very much for all you've done. And now I'd like to call on Heidi Mover, who is going to talk about Tom Balash and Shelah Haron, who are both continuing in their roles as members at large of our board.
Thank you, Shelah Haron, for your ability during meetings to clarify and restate the most confusing regulations and issues for the rest of us who are not lawyers. I think I can speak for all of us in expressing my gratitude for your analytical mind, plus the ability to present the aforementioned in understandable form. Thank you, Tom Balash, for your work on our Social Justice Committee, and especially for your key role in sustaining the sanctuary program.
Now I'd like to call on Gail Wolf, who's going to talk about Meg Silver, who is continuing in her role as cemetery representative to the board.
Meg Silver is a long-standing, loyal member of our temple community and the board. She represents the cemetery committee and keeps us up to date as to the usage and the needs of our cemetery. She's also contributed her time and energy to the dues restructuring committee, to sisterhood activities, and she's our resident groupie for the temple band and our coffee house. And we thank Peg for being such a great team player.
I'd now like to call on Michael Singer, who is going to talk about Howard Eichenbaum, who is continuing in his role as chair of the Adult Education Committee.
It is my privilege to speak about Howard Eichenbaum, our lifelong Jewish Learning LJL chair. Howard has done an awesome job planning programs and activities to bring our temple community together, ranging from Torah food and schmooze to Monday night adult education sessions on Shabbat service songs to a very interactive and enthusiastic Talmud class. Howard has been working with the Sefti program for our temple teens. He even had time to co-lead Temple Trivia Night. I am looking forward to what Howard has planned for our next year as LJL chair.
I would now like to call on Sheldon Cooperman, who is going to talk about Fran Bloomfield, who is continuing in her role as co-chair of the fundraising committee.
I've had the privilege for a number of years of working with Fran as co-chair of the fundraising committee. Whether it's dealing with ordering and selling script, high holiday bags, yard sale, coffeehouse fundraiser, count your blessings, Purim gift bags, well-wish book, Fran does it all, and always with an optimistic attitude. Over the years, Fran has cultivated a small dedicated army of volunteers that materialize every year to help out with the coffeehouse yard sale, and especially all the bag stuffing. People feel a strong loyalty to her, and they do turn out to help every year, every event. On a personal level, Fran was one of the few people I felt I could confide in when I had to step away from temple activities to deal with some family issues. She and Michael Singer made clear that they would manage things at temple during my absence, and that my job was to focus on my family. On a lighter note, I've also had the privilege of playing alongside Fran in the temple band for the past 5 years. Fran is not a fan of microphones. You could say she's kind of allergic to them. She subscribes to the saying that one should be seen, but apparently not heard. But when the Sisterhood did its Friday night service last year, I had the privilege of browbeating her into miking her guitar and vocals so people could finally hear her. And as I fully expected, she sounded great. The pandemic has put an abrupt stop to many temple events, but what I miss more than the events themselves are the social interactions that I all too often have taken for granted. I look forward to the time when I can once again confide to Fran just what a pain in the behind the yard sale is, and her cheerful response, "Hey, it's just one weekend a year. It's good for the temple."
I would now like to call on Fran Bloomfield, who is going to talk about Sheldon Cooperman continuing in his role as co-chair of the fundraising committee.
Sheldon Cooperman and I have worked together for many years on the fundraising committee, and I appreciate all he does. Whether it's schlepping holiday gift bags or Purim bags, or bouncing ideas off of each other, or especially everything having to do with the coffee house. He's a great person to have as a co-chair, and I hope we continue co-chairing for many, many years. Thank you, Sheldon.
I'd now like to call on Lisa Arsenal to talk about Jen Snyder, who is continuing in her role as religious school co-chair.
Hi everyone, Shabbat Shalom. I'd like to take a moment to thank Jennifer Snyder for serving as co-chair of the religious school committee with me this year. It was a crazy year, but we managed to do it, and I think it was very successful. You are so wonderful, and your leadership is going to make sure that next school year is just as fantastic. So thank you so much.
I would now like to call on Jeff Nussbaum to talk about Hal Torman, who is continuing in his role as temple treasurer.
I would like to thank Hal Torman for continuing as temple treasurer. Hal pays all of our bills and makes sure that payroll runs smoothly. He has set up all of our temple financial systems, such as our budget process, and is always there when we need him without complaint. He even finds time for other volunteer activities, like cleaning and organizing the temple kitchen. Thanks, Hal.
I'd now like to call on Hal Torman to speak about Jeff Nussbaum, who's continuing in his role as financial secretary.
As the unofficial Dialing for Dollars financial secretary, Jeff Nussbaum has ensured the temple collects members' dues, tuition, and other invoiced amounts, so the temple can meet its financial obligations. This past year, he elevated awareness of the ability to pay using PayPal to minimize physical handling of checks due to the pandemic. He has carried out his unenviable responsibilities with dignity and respect, and for that, we thank him. So thanks, Jeff, for all you do, of which only a fraction of which is mentioned here. Time now to issue those fiscal year 21 invoices.
I'd now like to call on Val Jacobs to talk about Ellen Finkelman and her continuing role as religious and ritual chair.
It is a pleasure to take a moment to thank Ellen Finkelman for all of her hard work this year as the chair of the Religious and Ritual Committee, as well as recognizing Ellen's willingness to chair the Religious and Ritual Committee in the upcoming year. How could anyone be prepared for the changes that the COVID-19 would bring to all aspects of our lives, as well as to our Temple Shalom Emeth community? Ellen's hard work, impressive level of organization, as well as her warm and generous heart, uniquely qualified her to guide us in the continuation of the many rituals that are such a meaningful part of our community. Ellen, in addition to her work on the R&R committee, has spent the past several months as a member of the nominating and budget committee, both roles requiring significant time and energy. As Ellen starts to work on the planning of the virtual high holidays services, please remember to volunteer for a virtual reading as the R&R committee works to include as many members of our community in the high holiday services as possible. Thank you, Ellen, for your tireless dedication to Temple Shalom Emeth. You are certainly one of our community's essential workers, and we are very thankful and grateful for you. Thank you.
I would now like to call on Ellen Finkelman to talk about Val Jacobs, who's continuing in her role as Vice President of Membership.
Val, we gratefully acknowledge your expert leadership as membership chair for Temple Shalom Emeth this past year, and I'm delighted that you have accepted to continue as membership chair for the fiscal year 2021. Your bubbly smile and your unending warmth have truly been inspirational for us all. We are certain that you will continue to excel in this capacity and look forward to your further leadership in the coming year. Mazel tov and thank you.
I'd now like to call on Meg Silver, who is continuing in her role as Cemetery Commission representative to the board, who is going to speak about Gail Wolf, who is our continuing sisterhood coordinator.
Hi, I would like to thank Gail Wolf for her service this past year as sisterhood chairperson and getting the sisterhood up and running with a lot of wonderful activities for the women of the temple. And I hear it was a fun year, and thank you, Gail, for your work in that.
I'd like to call on Howard Eichenbaum, who is going to be talking about Michael Singer, who is continuing in his role as Brotherhood co-president.
Shabbos, everybody. I'd like to take a couple minutes here to thank Michael Singer for yet another stellar job as Brotherhood chair. Michael again led us in the Brotherhood Shabbat service and was the driving force behind it. So thank you again for all your hard work. I know he's very dedicated to the temple. He's also one of the best chefs we have at the temple, especially for the Purim Carnival. And he also is always willing to volunteer for Torah Food and Shmooze to be one of the leaders of it. So I thank him for that. And I look forward to working with Michael again in the upcoming year on the temple board. So I'll hopefully see him and everyone else soon. Good Shabbos.
I would like to thank Sheldon Cooperman for everything that he's done as a co-president of Brotherhood this year, and I know that he's going to continue to be working with Michael Singer as co-Brotherhood president in the year to come. So Mazel Tov, Sheldon, and thank you for all you've done and will continue to do. And now it's our time to welcome the brand new members to the board and also those who are entering new positions on the board. So first of all, I wanted to introduce and thank Jeremy Kasanoff, who is going to be our new first vice president, who is going to be overseeing many of the committees and being the right-hand person to Shelley in making decisions about the congregation. So congratulations, Jeremy, you are officially installed. I'd like to welcome Bob Eisenstein to the Temple Board. He is going to be our vice president for House, and he's going to help to take care of all of our grounds issues, of which there are many. So thank you to Bob for already jumping in and helping us in so many ways. So Bob, you are officially installed as vice president of House. And I wanted to welcome Andy Feit to our board for the first time, who is going to be our communications chair of our communications committee. And Andy's going to help with the announcements and the website and our all of our marketing needs. So welcome to the board, Andy. I would like to welcome Karen Eichenbaum to our temple board. She is going to be co-chairing the religious school committee with Jen Snyder, and you are officially installed. Now I call upon Heidi Mover, who very nicely and generously wanted to say a few words about me. So take it away, Heidi, and thank you again for your very, very kind sentiments.
Rabbi Abramson, you are the linchpin of our temple. Any attempt to thank you is destined to be inadequate because it would be impossible to list all that you do. You've navigated situations from the global to the local level, from universal concerns to the most mundane, from the most solemn to the whimsical. You have visited with our Islamic neighbors, led Jericho walks to protest ICE actions against immigrants, stood with Congressman Gordon and Senator Friedman, and been a voice against anti-Semitism and racism while we reluctantly made changes to increase security measures in our own temple building. You have become known for your thought-provoking cable series, Spiritually Speaking, and been a forerunner in the evolving techno-culture of Shul Online in this era of modern plague. You've presided over Purim festivals in costume, including a tail, and made lots of challah. You do all this with passion, unshakable calm, and a wicked sense of humor. You've shown that you don't need to have all the answers to provide guidance over this past wilderness of a year, although an instinct born of experience is indispensable. Thank you for demonstrating on a daily basis what leadership is.
I would now like to call on Shelley Rosenbaum-Lippman, our temple president, to speak about Ken Lifton, our continuing immediate past president.
Ken, as you've said many times, you are the institutional voice of our temple. As such, you've been invaluable to me while I've been president to help me understand the history of the temple and how things have operated in the past. But beyond that, you've stayed active even beyond after you became the immediate past president. You are the chair of the security committee and you're on the religious and ritual committee. And I really appreciate everything you've done as immediate past president. Thank you.
I'd now like to read a statement from Ken Lifton, who is continuing in his position of immediate past president. He is writing this about our current and continuing president, Temple President Shelley Rosenbaum Lippman. He's unable to read this himself, so I'm going to read it on his behalf. Thank you to Shelley. I have the honor of thanking President Shelley Rosenbaum Lippman this year at our Temple Board installation service. First, thank you to all the new officers and new and returning board members. A special thank you to Shelley for another excellent year of leading and guiding our temple as lay leader. The fiscal year our temple faced unprecedented outside challenges of a pandemic, and you provided a steady hand of leadership through sometimes turbulent times. We appreciate your consensus leadership governing our temple and working closely with Rabbi Abramson to ensure the needs of our members and community were and are serviced. Thanks for your continuing interest in connecting us together with the revival of the temple newsletter and commitment to self and adult learning at our temple. But the biggest thank you is for your continuity of leadership by continuing to lead and guide our temple through challenges ahead. A special thanks also to Daryl and your family. Warmest congratulations, Ken Lifton, immediate past president. And I also wanted to personally thank her very briefly for all that she does for our community, for working tirelessly on all of our behalf. And she's had to face so many unique challenges this year, and she's voluntarily continuing for a third year, which is quite unusual in our congregation's history. So a very, very special thank you to Shelley for keeping us all together, keeping us all working as one united group, moving in a positive direction. Take it away, Shelley.
Shabbat Shalom, members of Temple Shalom Emeth. I was hoping that by this date I'd be happily about to serve as immediate past president. Yet, as I had mentioned in my High Holy Days speech, John Lennon said, "Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans." But although I'm not yet able to take a big breath and pass the baton on to someone else, I am thrilled with how everyone has stepped up to help over the past few months. For the first time in several years, we have all board positions filled with active, eager members. A large percentage of our members serve on various committees and also belong to our affinity groups such as sisterhood, brotherhood, social justice, and so on. This is my first goal for the coming year, to continue and expand the active participation of all our members. My second goal is for more members to avail themselves of the Jewish experience that Temple Shalom Emeth affords. From attending Shabbat services, to enrolling your children in the religious school, to encouraging your post-B'nai Mitzvah children to continue their studies with confirmation classes, to taking part in adult education, to even participating in our Jewish trivia night. There truly is something for everyone. I'll also put out the challenge that I made to everyone 2 years ago. I know that there are a number of adults who never became a B'nai Mitzvah. 2 years ago, I set that as a goal, and I succeeded. Now, who's next? My last goal is to keep encouraging everyone to step forward with ideas. This past year, I was amazed at how many people would not wait for someone to ask for something to be done. They would just do it, or at least investigate what could be done. Like the rabbi creating YouTube Shabbat services when we could no longer have our services in person, or Hal Torman filling out the application for the Payroll Protection Program loan and also helping to clean out our kitchen, or Jeff Nussbaum making sure our etrog tree was watered, or the teachers stepping up and educating our children by Zoom meetings, or the community security service members who have done security sweeps of our building while it's closed, or everyone, and really there were so many, I've lost count, who sent me ideas for how we can improve. It's amazing how much we've accomplished this year. Let's keep that up. I am eager, as I'm sure all of you are, for things to return to normal, or at least near normal. But I'm just as eager to see what great things we can all accomplish by working together this coming year. Shabbat Shalom.
So thank you to all of those who are continuing in their current positions and everything that you've done for us during the past year. I hereby declare all of you officially installed. Mazel tov. When God commanded Moses to have the menorah lit in the tabernacle, we might wonder why God wanted a candelabra with many candles to illuminate the ark as opposed to one or two big torches. The answer is that the menorah symbolized the importance of each member of the community to bring their own personal brightness to illuminate God's sanctuary. The Torah also tells us that all the candles were to be angled towards the middle so that they were all facing in the same direction. As we congratulate this past year's leaders and celebrate the installation of this incoming board, may we keep in mind that it is each of our responsibilities to bring our own brightness to our synagogue community. It is only when we come together and work together that our temple and our Torah will shine and be a beacon for all who come here. And I'd now like to bless our incoming temple leaders with a special prayer which Aaron said over the Israelite leaders many centuries ago in the desert, the priestly benediction. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and keep you. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may God show you favor and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God show you kindness and grant you peace. Amen, Mazel Tov, and thank you for all you have done and all you will be doing in the year ahead. And we now continue with a little song of congratulations, Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov. Take it away, Ben.
Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov Mazel Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov Siman Tov Yeh lanu Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov Siman Tov u'Mazel Tov u'Mazel Tov Siman Tov Yeh lanu Yeh lanu Olecha Yisrael Yeh lanu Olecha Yisrael Yeh lanu Olecha Yisrael Yeh lanu Olecha Yisrael.
We now continue with the Aleinu prayer on page 586.
Aleinu lishabeach la'adon hakol, latet gedula liyotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'goralenu kichol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ ומשה יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגבהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתחת. אין עוד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
The introduction to the Kaddish, the prayer for those who have died, is on page 599. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We recall Maxine Horowitz, Sonia Grossman, and we continue to remember George Floyd, who died during this past month. And we add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeits or anniversary of whose deaths occur this week. Mark Trubnik, Abram Dvorkin, Natalie Shafitz, Bella Cooperman, Olin Alton. And at this time, if there are names of others you'd like us to keep in our hearts and our minds, we prepare to recite the Kaddish prayer. You may say their names aloud or in your hearts at this moment. Zichronam livracha. May all of their memories be for a blessing. We now continue with the Kaddish on page 598. Please rise if you are able. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei rabbah, v'yalma divrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechonu v'yomechon v'chayeh dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach l'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudashah barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to our country, to all Israel, and all the world, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. And now we continue with the Kiddush, the blessing over the wine, and the Motzi, the blessing over the bread.
The heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
So I'd like to congratulate all of us once again for having a strong, wonderful community with a very bright future and wonderful, wonderful leadership. And we conclude our service this evening with the singing of Al Shlosha Devarim. On three things does the world stand: on the Torah, on acts of loving kindness, and on service to God.
avoda yal gemilut chasadi al shlosha divarim ha'olam omed al shlosha divarim al shlosha divarim ha'olam omed al shlosha divarim